Right, on February 9th, 2011 at about 6:30 p.m., uniform units were dispatched to a person stabbed call at 1110 Bridle Path Drive in unincorporated Lawrenceville. On arrival, officers located a deceased 1-year-old and a deceased 3-year-old, along with an injured 3-year-old and an injured adult. All were suffering from multiple stab wounds. The adult and juvenile victims were transported to area hospitals for treatment. The injured adult was Elvis Noe Garcia, and he was identified as the victims and the children's father. Noe Garcia identified the assailant who had assaulted him and the 3 children as Antonio Cardenas-Rico. During an intensive search led by the homicide narcotics units, the suspect was located quickly and taken into custody. Cardenas denied any knowledge of or involvement in the assaults. Shortly after the arrest, as the statements of the surviving victim were examined, members of the homicide unit discovered some discrepancies with the statement in comparison to other evidence in Cardenas-Rico's alibi. Despite the fact that a viable suspect had been apprehended, members of the homicide unit, with the assistance of their narcotics and robbery units, began a 3-day around-the-clock investigation with the purposes of verifying the testimony of the victim and tracking the alibi provided by the suspect already in custody. Over the course of the 3 days, detectives attempted to piece together the circumstances surrounding the crime to ensure that the investigation was complete and accurate. Detectives discovered facts that proved contrary to the statements made by Noe Garcia. Several hours were spent recreating the crime scene, examining physical evidence, and re-interviewing witnesses, which ultimately led police to the conclusion that the father was in fact responsible for the crime. The Gwinnett County District Attorney's Office was contacted immediately, and District Attorney Danny Porter, without delay, administratively dismissed the murder charges against Cardenas-Rico. Cardenas-Rico remains incarcerated under narcotics charges, and he also has an immigration hold. Elvis Noe Garcia has been charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of aggravated assault for the deaths of his 2 children and the critical injuries to the 3rd. Noe Garcia also has an immigration hold. The dedication of the homicide, narcotics, robbery, and crime scene units, in association with the District Attorney's Office, have taken what appeared to be a clear-cut investigation on the surface and continued to pursue the matter without pause until certainty was established as to the true identity of the offender.